Every year I play a game of life and death with Santa. And all I want for Christmas this year is to stop playing. Part 1. They say the average child stops believing in Santa around the age of 8, maybe 8.5, but not me, because I'm not like other kids. You see, I've actually met Santa, many times. Now I know what you're thinking. That's not possible. Santa isn't real. Well, you're both right and wrong at the same time. And for that very reason, I stopped telling people the story after I turned 10. But it goes something like this. I remember loving Christmas. The lights, the sounds, the decorations, the stockings, and most of all, like any young child, waiting for Santa to come down the chimney to give me my presents. One Christmas Eve when I was 4 years old, I remember insisting to my mom that we leave just the right amount of cookies on the table for him. For some reason, my 4-year-old self had decided that he only liked the oatmeal ones, and not those made with chocolate chips like we actually had in the kitchen. So, my mom and I cooked up a batch just to leave for him. A batch that she helped me bake with love, knowing they would go to waste. That night, I remember putting myself to bed extra early, knowing that the faster I went to sleep, the faster I would wake up in the morning, to the presents that always awaited me on Christmas morning. I had been fast asleep that night when I was suddenly awoken by the sound of rustling on the roof above me. This was it, I thought to myself. It's Santa. I'll finally catch him in the act. So I snuck out of bed, tiptoed downstairs, and, as expected, spotted a man with a white beard, all dressed in red, standing in the living room by the Christmas tree. I ran to my parents' bedroom in excitement and tugged at their sheets. Mommy, Daddy, Santa's here. Santa's here. My dad rolled over, eyes still closed, and humored me. Oh yeah? Yeah, he just came down the chimney. That's nice. Now go to bed, Bobby, my mom added, before they both returned to their slumbers. I did as she said, and went back to my room. But as soon as I heard my dad begin snoring again, I carefully made my way back down to the living room to catch another glimpse of Santa. I peeked my head around the corner, and there he was. It's really him. It's really Santa. I kept staring at him, not wanting to miss a moment of his visit. When he finally noticed me, he seemed puzzled for a moment before he waved me over. Hi, Sant. I began to excitedly call him by name, but he quickly placed one finger over his mouth. Shh, Bobby, he whispered, before picking up one of the cookies we had left on a plate for him, dipping it in the glass of milk beside it, and taking a bite. Eventually, he reached into a large green velvet bag, which was filled to the brim with packages, and removed one. He then proceeded to place the wrapped box on a rocking chair beside him and patted the seat, gesturing for me to join him. Who was I to disobey Santa? I thought to myself as I ran over to the chair, picked up the package, hopped onto the seat and opened the gift in a scurry. I muttered as I unwrapped it and removed it from its packaging. It was a humble wooden box with a surface like a chessboard, containing several small pieces, each resembling festive objects like a reindeer, a candy cane, a snowman, and a Christmas tree. It's a game, Santa said with a smile before explaining the rules. Reindeer beats candy cane beats snowman beats the Christmas tree, and the Christmas tree beats reindeer. We played the game for hours, and as the night went on, I gradually learned how to play. That first year he let me win. I know that for sure. After the third game that night he smiled and told me I was good at the game. He then tipped his red cap, stood up, and let himself out the front door. As soon as my parents woke up the next morning, I rushed to tell them everything that had happened. But they laughed off my story, likely dismissing it as a child's fantasy, and we went about our Christmas Day traditions, just as we always had. Looking back on it from a kid's perspective, there was nothing unusual about it at all. I was just playing a game with Santa, and so, I couldn't have been more excited when he returned a year later, with the same game. We played it again, and I won again, which Santa seemed to be impressed by, laughing aloud as he scarfed down his cookies. It wasn't until the third year where things changed. That year, I was once again excited to play the now annual game with Santa. And just as he always did, he reached into his bag. But this time, he pulled out a different game. Not unlike the first, but this board was larger, with more pieces, and far more complex. Okay, Bobby, now that you're old enough, we're going to play for real. Every year, I play a game of life and death with Santa. And all I want for Christmas this year is to stop playing. Part 2. He reached into his bag, but this time, he pulled out a different game. Not unlike the first, but this board was larger, with more pieces, and far more complex. Okay, Bobby, now that you're old enough, we're going to play for real. I wasn't sure what he was getting at, but I agreed to play anyway. He explained the new rules, which were a bit more difficult to follow, and we began to play. And this time, Santa won. Letting out a soft chuckle, he removed 2 items from his pocket, a piece of charcoal and a scroll. He then unrolled the paper, revealing the words, Naughty List. Below them was a list of names. He then proceeded to take the piece of charcoal and scratch it across the first name on the list, until it was completely crossed out. And then, he simply left, just as he always did, through the front door. Truth be told, I didn't think much of it at the time. Or the next year. Or the one after that. And every year that he won, he would do as he always did, and scratch a name off the naughty list. Now, around this time, it just so happened that in my town, there came to be known something that the locals referred to as the Christmas murders. For 3 years in a row, 3 people had died on Christmas. We all knew their names well: Daniel Jones, Sarah Anderson, and Michael Taylor. By now, I was just old enough to be suspicious of the correlation, so the next year when Santa came around again, I paid careful attention to the first name on the list and memorized it before Santa crossed it out: David Miller. And sure enough, the next day the headline of our newspaper read, "Christmas, Slayer strikes again. This year David Miller." That's when I realized that every time I lost the game to Santa, an innocent person died. That's when I realized that this was not Santa. This was someone else. After that, I stopped looking forward to his visit. I tried everything, locking myself in my room, hiding in the attic, even running outside. But every year, Santa found me. Every year we played the game, and every year that I lost, someone died. But last year was different. Last year, I refused to play the game. "But you have to, Bobby," Santa insisted. "Or what?" I shot back. "Well, let's see who's on the list this year," he said as he removed the paper from his pocket, unrolled it, and lowered his glasses. "Ah, yes. Just as I thought." He pointed to the first name on the list. It was mine. "I don't want to," I cried out, as I began to walk away. "If you don't play, then you get scratched off the naughty list, Bobby. And what do you think happens then?" "Who the fuck are you?" I shouted. "I want to know. Now." He belted out a laugh just as Santa always did in all of those children's Christmas stories and movies, with his eyes closed and holding his belly, seemingly charmed by my reaction. "You know me, Bobby. I'm Santa. Get the fuck out. I'm calling the cops." "Then you forfeit," he said, menacingly, as he removed the piece of coal from his pocket and was about to scratch off my name. "Wait," I called out as I stopped at the door and turned back to him. "All right, fine," I said, defeated, agreeing to play the game. And so, sitting there, across from Santa and looking down at the wooden pieces, I began to think about everything he had ever taught me about the game, starting at the beginning. Reindeer beats candy cane beats snowman beats the Christmas tree, and the Christmas tree beats reindeer. But he was good at the game, too good, and nearly lured me into a false move. But this year I was playing more carefully. I thought about every possible move, what his maneuver might be in return, and how I could counter. Somehow I got the feeling that I was about to make the exact move that Santa wanted me to make, but I was resilient. No matter what, this year, I had to win. And so I did. "Christmas tree beats reindeer," I said defiantly, as I moved my Christmas tree piece forward, knocking his reindeer to the board. "Good job, Bobby," Santa congratulated me with a smile before standing up and walking away. "Maybe next year I won't go so easy on you," he said before walking out the door, just as he always had. That was last Christmas. Coincidentally, the first year our town didn't see a Christmas murder. And since then, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. Who is he? Why does he make me play the game? Is he doing this to anyone else? And will it ever stop? To this day, I still don't know the answers. But what I do know is, Christmas is now just 6 days away. And all I want for Christmas this year is to stop playing the game.
When I googled my name, I found videos of me playing with myself without my consent. I like to Google myself sometimes. I have a very unique full name, and as far as I know, I'm the only one stuck with it in the world. Sometimes I use Google to check if my email pops up on the spam sites. Sometimes I do it to look at the old articles that mention me in sports competitions. I know that's a little narcissistic, but I can't be the only one to do it. Sometimes it can be interesting to run a weird search and see what comes up. So, this morning was a slow one at work, and I decided to indulge this self-obsessed habit for the umpteenth time. I threw the quotation marks around my name and hit enter. The results included the usual social media. My LinkedIn and Facebook pages populated the first 2 slots. An Amazon account with my wedding registry showed up third. But below that, displayed as an ordinary social media profile, was the website mylife.com. Some of you may already be familiar with My Life. It is basically the stalker's national anthem for any and all information relevant to an individual's life. Full names, political party affiliation, partial addresses and phone numbers are all available with just the preview option. If you subscribe to their BS, they will even let you search court and arrest records, photos, family and friends, and so much more. It is a creepy, dark corner of the internet. But they recently added a new feature: reviews and ratings. See for yourself. The reviews are actually integrated fairly often throughout My Life's website. It pops up at the top of my profile. And, surprisingly, I already had 1 review on the seemingly new feature. Here's what that looks like. As you can tell, my rating is a 3.75. I'm not sure what annoyed me more, the fact that this creepy website allowed me to be reviewed by strangers on the internet, or that said stranger chose to give me anything less than a 5. And so I clicked the review. Now, if anyone reading along finds themselves in the same situation, I don't recommend this part. It took about 10 minutes for the website to query a bunch of sketchy sounding databases, and at the end of it all, they still told me I had to pay to see something more. The mystery had already been built up for me. In my head, I had to see what was next, and so I clicked and gave them my credit card. I don't even remember what it costed. I'll find out soon enough. I had to pass through another 1,000 layers of BS to find my review. They tried to show me non-existent arrest records. Then they asked if I wanted to see my own phone number. There was an option to lock everything and make it inaccessible to the public, and I did that, but not before I found the review. Nestled in the bottom of the page. Here's what it said, with all personally identifiable information redacted. I have since sent it to the police. Here is the summary. Ava is the daughter of, mom's name redacted, and, dad's name redacted. She is currently living at, address redacted. She currently stands approximately, redacted, and, redacted, wait. She attended college at, redacted, university where she double majored in, redacted study. Active on all social media platforms, including LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Instagram. But I noticed something. There was a note at the end, the one that sent chills down my spine, the one that made me involve the police. She looks peaceful while sleeping. It read, her bedroom is on the second floor, third window from the left. I went cold, ice seeming to seep into my veins. I live on the second floor of my apartment building and my bedroom window is indeed the third one from the left. Someone had been watching me. A sick feeling of fear and disgust washed over me. I picked up the phone and dialed the number for my local police station, not taking my eyes off my laptop screen. When I was dialing, I saw a video under the review. Scared, but eager to know what it was, I clicked it. I don't think it could have been any worse. It was a video of me, lying in bed, doing it by myself. I was using a water bottle to do it. I started crying, panicking and waiting for the police to pick up. The information was just sitting there, freely available to anyone who looked for it. Once they answered, the police were attentive and took the matter seriously, promising to investigate the issue. I also contacted my life, demanding that they take down my profile. I later found out more video links under my review, ones I hadn't dared click before, were a collection of short clips taken from what seemed to be across the street of my apartment. They showed me in the living room, me in my bedroom, me in the kitchen. Thankfully, all were taken through closed windows and from a considerable distance, not as bad as that one video. But, they were still creepy and violated my privacy in ways I never imagined. The police launched an investigation and managed to trace the IP address of the reviewer. It turned out to be a man in his late 40s who lived in the same building across the street from mine. He was charged with stalking, invasion of privacy, and harassment. I moved away from my old apartment to somewhere safer, made sure all my online footprints were as private as possible, and regularly checked on my digital presence. In retrospect, I wish I had taken my online privacy more seriously. I wish I hadn't clicked on that review, or better yet, I wish that review hadn't existed. But it did. It served as a wake-up call for me and hopefully, for anyone reading this, a reminder to guard your online presence zealously. In this digital age, you never know who's watching.
I'm a teacher and I think one of my students is not alive. I'm a math teacher in a small-town high school. Among my students there was one unusual boy named Tommy. He was quiet, never spoke, and didn't mingle with other students. Yet he always scored perfect in all tests. One day, out of curiosity, I tried to engage Tommy in a chat, but he quickly walked away without saying a word. He had a certain coldness about him, which was quite off-putting. I decided to get in touch with his parents. However, the school records had no contact information for them. I found it strange but shrugged it off as a clerical error. Cryptic aura around Tommy piqued my curiosity. I tried asking around town about him. Everyone's answer was surprisingly the same. No one knew him or his family. One day, at a local diner, old Martha, an aging, long-time resident known for her sharp memory, overheard me talking about Tommy. She beckoned me over, a worried expression on her face. She claimed that there was a Tommy fitting my description who used to live in town, but he had died in a car crash 15 years ago. My blood ran cold, and everything around me began to spin. Was it possible that my student was a ghost? I returned to school the next day with a lump of fear in my throat. I kept my distance from Tommy, who appeared normal as ever, acing his math test. Somehow, this normalcy sent shivers down my spine. I started digging through the old school records, which were in a chaotic state. After days of searching, I found what I was looking for, a yearbook from 15 years ago. There was Tommy, looking identical. The caption under his picture read, "In loving memory of Tommy, who left us too soon." I was scared but decided to confront Tommy. After the class I asked him to stay back. He didn't move or speak. He was just there, standing, looking at me with blank eyes. I asked if he had died 15 years ago. Tommy smiled a sad, chilling smile and said, "Yes, but I had never been good at math. I wanted to learn it properly." Frightened and speechless, I saw him walk out of the room, disappearing into the crowd of students in the hallway. He never came to my class after that day. I told my story to a few colleagues. Some thought I was joking. Others believed I was hallucinating. But old Martha believed me. We decided to hold a small memorial for Tommy by the tree on the school grounds. It was our way of telling him it was okay to move on. Since then, I've never encountered anything supernatural, but Tommy's incident etched a lasting impression on me. On silent nights, when I'm all alone, grading papers, I can still feel a cold breeze and see a faint reflection of a boy smiling at me from the empty desks. The experience was a grim reminder that not all our students carry the weight of their backpacks. Some of them carry the weight of their souls, caught between worlds, unready for the adventure ahead.
We were locked in our classroom for days. I now know the horrifying truth about human nature. Day 1. We had just opened our textbooks to chapter 8 when the alarms blared overhead. A red strobing light spun by the door as metal slats slid down the wall to seal us in. The others started to stir and panic at their desks. Now. Class, I'm sure everything is fine. Probably just a drill. Mr. Jonas held up his hands in an attempt to soothe the crowd. Just as he was about to open his mouth, Evie came over the intercom. Level 3 contagion located in the south quadrant of campus. Lockdown protocol is now in effect. Isolation protocol is now in effect. Oh no. The teacher suddenly looked pale and a little panicked himself. Day 3. I slid my rook across the tiled chessboard to overtake Patricia's bishop. She stuck out her tongue in defiance as I removed it from the board. I smirked and then shoved another saltine cracker in my mouth. Mr. Jonas said we shouldn't be in here much longer. It was probably just taking the CDC a while to quarantine and eradicate the contagion. He said it must be a pretty nasty virus if they are keeping us locked in our classrooms. We have enough snacks for another day or so. It's been difficult to ration properly when all you have are crackers, candy, and canned spray cheese. Overall, though, we were keeping our hopes up, which was all we could really do. Staying positive, for now. Day 5. The room was starting to smell foul. We designated some buckets in the corner as the bathrooms, and they were about half full and beyond putrid. We ran out of food last night. My stomach rumbled with hunger, but I did my best to ignore it. I didn't feel like playing chess or reading anymore. Instead, I just napped at my desk as much as possible to pass the time. I was hoping at any moment I'd be awoken to the doors opening so that I could go home. I missed my parents. Mr. Jonas was losing his composure too. He'd been pretty put together up to this point and ensuring we were all calm. But his eyes looked a little wild now, and he kept pacing the room talking to himself. A few times I heard him cursing under his breath and then reciting prayers. I really hope we get out of here soon. Day 8. Bang, bang, bang. A pounding sound coming from the other side of the classroom pulled me from my dreams. Bang, bang, bang. I stayed still to appear asleep but cracked my eyes just enough to watch as the biology teacher smashed a chair against the steel door over and over again. Bang, bang, bang. He was really losing it. Let us out of here. Mr. Jonas screamed as he tossed the chair to the side. I cannot do that, sir. A level 3 contagion has been detected. I have sealed off the affected area, but you must stay isolated for your safety. The robotic voice hummed over the speakers. He screeched profanities at the camera in the corner of the ceiling. Some of the other boys were becoming aggressive as well. There had been some fights the last couple of mornings. Also, some hands going where they shouldn't be going, back behind the fake plants and lab equipment. It seemed as if we were slowly devolving. Becoming an enclosure of chimpanzees, like one you'd see at the zoo but only hungrier. We needed out, or something terrible was going to happen. Day 10. We'd been on a diet of tap water for the past 5 days. I felt dizzy every time I stood from my desk. The room would spin and I'd almost black out. I kept my footing by sheer force of willpower. I had this irrational fear that if I passed out, I'd be eaten by my classmates, like a pack of hyenas on a gazelle, feasting on my intestines as they spilled across the tiled floor. It sounded crazy if I said it out loud, but when I looked around the room and saw all the hungry faces, I didn't think the idea was too far-fetched after all. Mr. Jonas hasn't said a word in over 12 hours. He's just been sitting at his desk, carving something into the surface of it with an X-Acto knife. For the first time today, I had the thought that maybe we weren't going to make it out of this. Maybe we were all going to die in this classroom. I hung my head and cried. Day 13. Mr. Jonas. Mr. Jonas, stop, Micah cried. Don't you see? We have to do this, we need food. It's survival 101. When the pack is suffering and food is scarce, they turn on their weakest member. It's simple biology. Survival of the fittest. Mr. Jonas had his hands around Trevor's neck, squeezing so hard that the boy's eyes were about to pop from his skull. Trevor struggled beneath him, but he was frail and terribly small for his age. Micah grabbed a large beaker from the table and lifted it high over his head. Mr. Jonas, stop now. Don't make me do this. But the teacher was long gone. His eyes gleamed with delight as drool dripped down his chin from salivating at the thought of a meal. I jumped to my feet as Micah brought the beaker down as hard as he could onto Mr. Jonas' head. It shattered to pieces on impact, knocking the teacher out cold. I helped Micah push him off Trevor. The poor kid was wheezing and gasping for air as tears streamed down his face. You're all right, it's okay, you're all right. Micah patted the kid on the back, trying to calm him as he wailed. Suddenly there was a scream like a war cry and Mr. Jonas was airborne. He leapt across a desk and plowed into Micah. They both went sprawling across the tile. Micah resisted him, but Mr. Jonas ended up on top and began dropping his elbows viciously on Micah's face, causing blood to spew from his nose and mouth. Static filled my mind. I didn't think, I only reacted. I reached down and picked up a hunk of glass from the broken beaker, grabbed Mr. Jonas' shaggy hair and pulled it back to extend his neck. I pulled the glass through the meat of his throat as hard as I could. I'd never seen so much blood before. It poured in a waterfall across Micah's chest. Mr. Jonas fell to the side once more, this time never to get up again. I stared at my blood-soaked hands. I felt nothing. No remorse, no fear. Only static. Suddenly the metal slats retracted into the ceiling and the door swung open. Lockdown protocol has been lifted. Please continue with your regular schedules. Lockdown protocol has been lifted. Her cheery robotic voice seemed so distant and out of place now. The other students gathered around me, just staring at the pool of blood. I think it was the hunger talking, but a part of me wanted to know what it tasted like. I think the others did too. Thankfully, before that could happen, a man in a suit strolled into the classroom. "Hello, class." His perfect teeth gleamed under the LEDs. Before we could say anything, a team of adults in overalls poured into the room. Some began taking pictures of everything. Others started cleaning up Mr. Jonas. One man with gray hair dropped a large box on the teacher's desk and opened it. He then started throwing fresh fruit and granola bars to each of the students. We devoured everything he gave us. I started to feel more like myself after 2 bananas and 4 granola bars. They tasted like heaven, a sweet salvation. The first man with the nice teeth and the expensive suit waited until we were all done before he addressed us again. "I know it's been a long 13 days, guys. I appreciate you all hanging in there. I've alerted each of your parents that you've been cleared to go home." The classroom erupted in cheers as we all hugged each other. Even Micah, covered in gore, danced around excitedly. "You'll all be able to go home soon, but first I just need to do a little debrief with each of you before you go. I'm going to set up in the counselor's office, and Mr. Moses here is going to bring you down one by one to give your account on what happened here during isolation." We all nodded our heads in agreement. Anything to get out of here. Mr. Moses, the man with the gray hair and the snacks, took us down one by one, and we spilled our guts to the man with the nice teeth. When I gave my story on what it was like, I still felt numb. Even when describing how I'd killed Mr. Jonas, I just felt nothing. It wasn't until I'd gotten home that evening that I'd broken down and wept. Once I was in my mother's arms, I cried and cried until I couldn't anymore. Then I ate more food than I ever had. I shoveled pasta down my throat until I thought my stomach would burst. It was a good feeling. To be full. To be human again. Years later, while I was at university, a whistleblower had leaked that what we'd endured at the school was a government cover-up for a top-secret experiment. There had been no virus, no contagion. It began as an experiment to test the artificial intelligence system they had at the school. But then it morphed into a social experiment to see how long we would last before someone was murdered or severely harmed. To test the boundaries of civility and moral character under immense pressure. Just in case there was a real issue with the code in the AI, and this scenario became a reality elsewhere. When I'd killed Mr. Jonas, it had ended the experiment. The news had made me sick to my stomach. I was angry and disgusted for weeks. I was okay with it now, though. You see, Trevor may have been small, the weakest member of the Pride perhaps, but he was also a genius. With his hacking expertise, we were able to locate Mr. Nice Teeth and Mr. Moses. It's been 6 days so far, and every time they scream and hit the door with a chair, I just can't help but smile. It's a little experiment a few of us are conducting. It'll end when someone is murdered or severely injured.